Nadolig Llawen, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the MMA World Podcast episode 2. My name is Justin Hodge, and today we're joined by Rhys Bell, my co-host, Chris Rhys Academy fighter, Pederson, and also from Chris Rhys Academy, Kaycee. So, Scotty Pederson, he's a bit of a beast. He's been on the circuit a long time on the amateur scene. He's been heavily involved in K1, it's fair to say. He holds some really good titles as well. Cage Warriors Academy lightweight champion. So tell us a little bit about you. Obviously you represent Chris Rhys Academy, and along with Kaycee as well, just done exceptional in the IMMAFs, which we'll come on to in a minute. But do you want to tell us a bit about your club and your background?
Yeah, so like I said, training the Chris Rhys Academy, so like the level of fighters there is just, the talent pool is next level. Obviously we've got Brett, who's in the UFC, but like apart from Brett, there's like a big group of amateurs we've got down there. We train hard, we put hours in day out, do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's going to be good things to come in the future. Yeah,
Brett was really saying last week how some of the guys he's surrounded with, and yourself especially being part of the full-time team, have helped him develop to the level he's at today. So you're all definitely iron sharpens iron down at the club. And, do you want to tell us a little bit about how Bahrain went for you, and what the IMMAFs is to anyone who might not know what that is?
Yeah, so basically IMMAF is like, it's all the best amateurs around the world, and we go and compete. It's like our Olympics for the sport basically. So as a result I wanted, I went out there losing in the first round to the eventual gold medalist, but I learned a lot. Do you know what I mean? I know what kind of style you need to win in these tournaments. I'm looking forward to hitting them up next year now, so yeah.
You know, you fought the top guys out there. There was nowhere to hide in that competition, in case you know that yourself, doing exceptionally well at it. So, you know, people aren't so familiar with the IMMAFs, but it is a massive stepping stone to lead on to good things. So we are massively proud of you, and you are representing Britain at the end of the day. It's not like we all represent ourselves anymore. You are representing Britain, and there's no cause to say that.
So how would you say then, you two have got quite different experience levels. How would you say that it affected you going out to Bahrain? Like Kaycee obviously maybe less experience with like travelling and fighting, and maybe Scott, it was more like, you know, having been to Bahrain before, for example. How did that affect you?
Me personally, I had no idea what to expect. Everything was new. I was taking everything in and enjoying the experience.
Did that make it difficult to perform? Because it was like...
I think it made it a little bit easier. Okay. Like going back, now if we was to go back, I'd know what to expect.
So you got more to maybe worry about?
Yeah, a little bit more anxiety would kick in. But this time I had nothing, I didn't know anything, so it was just taking it as it comes.
Yeah, I fully believed going out there, I was going to medal, I was going to win, like, so obviously when that didn't happen, it hurt my feelings, but no, it's just, throughout the week then, I was just picking up, I was like looking at the other countries, what they do, as in like how many fights their amateurs have had, and they've had like quite a lot to be fair, so yeah, I was just picking up little bits, and just keeping them for next time.
Did you find that different countries have different sets of records? So like a particular country would have quite...
I was speaking to this one, this boy from Finland, and he took silver out there in the featherweight division, and he was saying he's had like over 40 bouts and doesn't know his record, do you know what I mean? Like some of these guys are fighting literally like every weekend, which I think people in the UK need to wise up and start doing as well.
Yeah.
Instead of like protecting your amateur record, go 7-0 and then turning pro, and then you get found out and you try and fought no one decent.
Yeah, that's true. And like
so you need to fight these good amateurs to get experience.
And that's something that you've done in your amateur career as well. So like we saw you fight Bo Gavin.
Yeah.
And like that's a tough opponent for anyone, and I think a lot of people duck him.
But I had him on 2 weeks notice, and as soon as I heard about it, I was like, yeah, definitely I'm on that fight, 100%.
Yeah, and that really says something about a fighter then, that you chose Bo Gavin as well, which is a tough fight.
And he's just knocking people out left, right, centre.
Yeah, he's so powerful, and you could see when you were trying to wrestle him that he just like pops back to his feet.
Oh yeah, athletic, strong.
It was a good fight. It was a really good fight, and it was impressive display from you.
Thank you.
So back to IMMAF.
Champ.
How did it feel to go up against someone who is from a completely different like world? You know, you fought an American, was it?
Yeah, I fought a USA lad. I don't know, it's kind of, it's a fight at the end of the day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going to try and beat him, he wants to try and beat me. But what I've noticed though, in those style of tournaments, you can't just fight. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have a game plan you've got to take less damage to be able to fight the next day, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what that boy done really well, do you know what I mean? Just getting the takedowns,
Do you know,
keeping it safe, so.
You know what I feel is, like, if you're preparing for like an amateur bout, like say on Adrenalin or something, you can research your opponent, you can look at their records, things like that. Did you find that fighting somebody who you didn't know what they were bringing to the table was a challenge? Because at the end of the day, you don't know who's opposite you.
Yeah, on some things, we had some information about our opponents on my next match. So he was able to see some stuff, but like me personally, it doesn't bother me, like I don't care.
You go wherever,
yeah,
you're happy to go wherever the fight takes you.
Yeah.
I guess they definitely didn't have any footage of your fights, so you kind of instilled more mystique than I guess they
Yeah,
did.
but I think I was more of the underdog. I wasn't known, like I'm known now only through the world, but I wasn't known, so no one had anything at all on me, and I think it was just get in there and brawl more than anything for them, and whoever won.
Yeah.
And I just was lucky enough to get them 2 wins.
Did you fight someone from Bahrain?
Yeah, I did. That was my second bout.
So how did that feel? Was there like more pressure on you to perform well? Or?
Not pressure to perform well. I think it was more like throughout the day, seeing how many Bahrainians were coming and supporting, and hearing them, because they like had their own little cheer going and stuff like that. You know, so obviously when like their own fighters were fighting, they went crazy. They was loving it. So walking in and then hearing them cheer her and then booing me, I was like, right, okay, I want this like even more. Do you know? It fueled me more. It's
And
fun.
do you feel like that fueled you a bit more when they?
It was more of a point to prove.
So you were like, right, yeah. Cheers on the bad guy then.
Yeah, it was more of a point to prove. It wasn't like I heard them cheer me and I was like, all right, cool. I'll give you a reason to cheer me.
Yeah.
And I did.
That's a great way.
That's the right attitude. Yeah.
So moving on into the future, then obviously off the back of this, you gained massive experience by doing the IMMAFs. I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah.
But moving forward now, looking at the next event down in Tenby, which is more towards your own neck. I see the smile on your face, and it's as if you've been waiting for this for ages. So you've obviously both got tough opponents, which we'll go into in a minute. I know Reese has done some research on your opponent, and I know about Quay as well. So Quay, tough match coming up.
Yeah.
The guy's name, I can't even say it. Bogdan Grad.
Yeah,
Is he the only person in Europe who will fight you? Is that too far now? Fair play to Bogdan now. What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen some of his fights on YouTube.
Stop doing my research, man.
Nah, I YouTubed him, and he's a decent striker. So that's some good strike, you know, like he's TK'd a few boys, like, but like I said, I'm not scared. Like if he wants to, I'm gonna go in and try and take his head off.
Left, right,
try and take
right.
mine, do you know what I mean?
So do you
as
think
simple as that.
you want to keep it on the feet?
I'll just see how it goes, you know. I can fight everywhere, like so.
I guess you're quite well-rounded for an amateur,
Yeah.
so that's quite useful for you. I got a couple of bits on him. So this guy tends to win via strikes. I think probably in a Bo Gavin sort of style. How do you think that's going to go down? Are you going to look for more volume compared with his power, or are you going to match fire with fire?
I don't know. Well, when I watch his fights, and he like the way he don't like. To be fair to Bo like puts his boys to sleep.
Yeah.
This boy he, like TKOs them, so like he'll like like just with barrage of punches. So I don't know. We'll just see when we get there. Like, do you know what I mean? I'll feel it out, and then just whatever fight needs to go.
How do you feel Bogdan has only really got matches in the IMMAFs? Do you think that makes him quite well prepared or quite unprepared? Because he's not really in a fight show, it's like a proper tournament,
That's
it's like a different feel.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is that you've got like the best way I can describe it is like the Worlds and the IMMAF tournaments. It's like a Jiu-Jitsu tournament.
Yeah.
When you like literally you're right next to your opponent before you walk out, and it's just like it's just eerily quiet in the crowd. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
No
like,
walkout
obviously
music?
fight show, no walkout music. I mean, fight shows then it's not as crowd, people are jumping against him and enjoying the night, like, do you know what I mean? There's people chanting left, right and centre, so that's a different atmosphere.
That's fair.
But like obviously people in the Worlds, like in the stadium, the Worlds, there's
there
loads of
for
fights
show.
going on at once, so everyone's like just focusing on their own country, do you know what I mean? So
it's not so much of a big
seems-
show, it's more like a sporting occasion.
exactly,
rather than a show.
yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So I've also noticed Bogdan Grad, this might be helping you actually, my little bit of research here. So Bogdan Grad has lost by a leg lock. Do you
Yeah,
think
knee
you're going to
lock.
try and... He knew, he's done his research.
No.
So are you going to look to exploit that a little bit, being as you've got, you know, a good leg locking team?
Yeah, well, literally, I honestly believe I can beat him anyway. Like I say, he's a good striker, and I respect him in every area. But we'll just see how it goes. I'll take him down, beat him up there. So it's just striking and beating him striking, I'll keep it there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but no.
So moving over to Kaycee now.
Yeah, you crack on.
Oh, you like?
Oh, I wish I could done your homework. So
Yeah, I have done that homework. So, Kaycee, your opponent, Julia Dorney from Germany.
Yeah.
She is someone who looks similar to Bogdan, where she has, most of her competition has been in IMMAF, but that's the same as you. I guess that's a little bit different to Sky.
Yeah.
So she's travelling quite a long way. Do you think the home crowd is going to affect you?
I'd like to say no. I've never fought in front of my own home crowd, so I don't know. I
don't think anyone has.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever been an event on Tenby.
So I honestly cannot answer that. I can answer after that.
Because for some people it's a help and some people it's a hindrance.
Yeah, well, I try not to get affected by anyone that's there. Literally, I am arrogant and I won't speak to anybody that's there, because I got a job to do at the end of the day and I need to stay focused, so hopefully the crowd won't affect me.
Okay. So we've got Julia Dorney then coming in from Germany. She's got 2 silvers and 3 bronzes at the IMMAFs.
Yeah.
This is like a challenge.
Yeah.
But I think from talking to the Adrenalin promoter, it's not easy to find your match anymore after the Worlds. So I feel like this Julia Dorney needs a little bit of respect, I think, for after seeing you demolish those 2 girls in the Worlds.
Yeah.
For sort of saying, yeah, I want to fly to West Wales and fight this girl.
Yeah.
It's quite ballsy.
It is, and I have a lot of respect to her for that, and I look forward just to fighting her, to be honest, because she is an IMMAF veteran, if you want to put it like that.
Yeah, and I've looked her up, and she tends to win by decision and has lost by a sub. I know that you've, like you said earlier, fought in K1. Do you feel like you're more likely to strike or more likely to grapple with this girl?
Whatever happens will happen. We're like Scotty, really. We'll have a game plan probably, like everyone has a game plan, but you won't really know until you get in there, because she might change her own game plan, and you just have to go with it. Just go with it and try the hardest and get the win.
That's fair enough. So, that's that covered.
Okay. Is there anyone you'd like to say any special thanks to? Is it helping you get ready for these fights, or might help you along with it?
I'd like to say thank you to the boys, Chris Reese and Stuart Tyree, and the boys I train with down in Chris Reese Academy, West Wales. I nearly forgot that, yeah, I know, I'm terrible. Yeah, because obviously I'm between the both, so I get the best of both worlds, really, don't I? Yeah. So I'd like to say thank you to all of them.
Stu is a great guy, Stu Tyree. I think he inspires a lot. He's a lot of support for the guys down that way. So do you feel he's been like a big influence in your training?
Massive influence.
His new club down there is fantastic. I'd advise anyone to go down and check it out.
Yeah, he's been a massive influence. I've had coaches in the past before, haven't been not great coaches, but they're very self-centered. You know, and Stu is very much all about his fighters and will do anything for
Because
him.
everyone has to for himself. That's for sure. Cool. Scotty P.
I thank everyone at Chris Reese Academy, all the boys I train with day in, day out. And,
Got any sponsors yet?
No.
Someone sponsor this guy.
He's looking for a girlfriend last time we spoke as well.
Oh, right, okay, so let's figure that out as well. So Scotty P looking for sponsors and girlfriends. He's 13 and 3. Do you know what? He throws a really nice high kick. It's like poetry, that high kick is. So thanks for joining us, Scott and Kaycee. We ended on an odd note there. That is what we do.
If you guys want to follow Kaycee and Scotty's journey, you can follow Scotty on Instagram, ScottyP102, and Kaycee's Kaycee_Blake1. Don't know how she feels about me giving out her Instagram, but welcome to MMA World. Kaycee's only got 244 followers and Scotty's got 1,200, so Kaycee could really use the support, you know.
Maybe some of Scotty's followers and that's not really very
maybe most of Scotty's followers are male, but who knows.
That's why he's got a girlfriend.
Maybe you should
we figured
swap followers maybe, but guys, thank you for joining us so much, and we're really excited to catch up with with your bouts on Adrenalin Tenby. You're both exciting fighters. You bring it to the table every time. You're both fighting on home turf, not far off.
Yeah.
And we're excited.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Welcome back to the second part of the MMA Wales podcast. We're now joined by John Maflin, who fights at the Chris Reese Academy. John, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on. Brilliant. Better Welsh than I've got. Thanks for coming on to chat to us today. I'm glad you came on because you've recently competed internationally, which we'll come on to in a minute. But more importantly, you trained down in Wales as a full-time athlete representing the RAF. So how's that going for you?
I went full-time in July this year, and it's been 6 months now, and I've been in the Air Force for around sort of 3.5 years, and when I joined, I was able to use basically just all the opportunities they have for athletes in general, for funding and time off from work. Managed to win my first international title at the Pan Pacific in Australia at brown belt last year in 2016, and that kind of showed them that I was ready for the next sort of level competition. And we have currently 20 elite athletes in the Royal Air Force, and I became number 20 in July, which gives me the opportunity to go train and compete full time on my regular RAF salary, which is a big help. And as I said, since actually getting this status, it's allowed me to come down here and train full time with people like Ash Williams and Chris Reese. So yeah, it's been great. It's really allowed me to go from being like say 2014, where I was a full-time office worker and a purple belt, being just sort of your average jiu-jitsu sort lifestyle person, to being now a full-time athlete.
Wow, so did you start competing quite regularly and then the RF noticed, or you were kind of angling towards that kind of career path?
So yeah, I never imagined I was going to be a full-time athlete, and I left university in Swansea in 2012 for a degree in psychology, big recession all at the time. I just imagined I was going to get a job and kind of try and settle down. I did try and compete in jiu-jitsu a lot at the time, but you've got to balance, a job. If your car gets a flat tire, that's your competition money gone. So when I actually joined the Air Force, and they were actually, the money was there for your casual competitors, let alone your elite ones. So as a casual competitor, they would give me £1,000 a year, and I was able to use military transportation to go to competitions on weekends.
Sorry, military transportation?
Yeah, it's just like they've got a pool of military cars, so if you're on...
I'm glad you said cars.
Basically,
I wasn't going to competition in a tank. Drop me on the roof wings. As brilliant as that would be, not. You're just thinking like a hire car type thing.
So it's easier for you to kind of get to the things, and they'll pay you as well to help you out with
They'll
that.
pay you to do
So
it, yeah.
What do they get out of that?
So it's all about it's two things. One thing is general well-being, because for one thing I have to move every 2 years as a part of my job, because I go from one job to another. Also, you can get sent on up to 6 month deployments overseas, and although you do get extra money for it, you'll be in quite high stress situations, working in sometimes battle zones. So if they can, while you're in the UK, give you every opportunity to improve your well-being, then that's what they do, and that's what it's all about, is giving you a mental and psychological well-being.
Yeah, I find the same as well. Obviously, me being in the army as well, and I trained with John for a long time when there was nowhere else to train. Basically, I trained under John for like a year, which was amazing. I had one tuition, which is fantastic. But being in the army, you do move around camps a lot, and it's hard to get the consistency with certain clubs. So John was obviously training at another club, even though he trained in Swansea in university. Then moved away to train, but now he's been sponsored and had his time off to train. He's moved back to Wales.
So it's more of a way like when you're about a different part of the country, or if you're over in for the army, maybe in Germany.
It's hard to get the consistency that most people get.
So you would find people who also do jiu-jitsu, and that's the way
within the forces as well.
So they move you, and you just kind of to help ease into moving to a new place, the hobbies and stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every station has their clubs, and especially since I've joined, the amount of jiu-jitsu clubs on RF stations has just kind of skyrocketed. We've got quite a number of instructors dotted all about the UK now, so whether you're in the Army, Navy, Air Force, you can generally find a station quite close where you get jiu-jitsu, and it'd be for free, because all of our instructors don't actually charge people in the military, so yeah, it's quite a handy thing to do.
Yeah, and is there inter-services competitions?
There is, yeah, we have...
I forgot about that, so
they are fierce. I've seen the rugby, and it is fierce.
There's quite a big rivalry, yeah. We have our single service championships every March and in October as well. But yeah, the inter-services against the Army and Navy is in July of every year.
Right.
And the Marines have got quite a stacked sort of team, as you can imagine. And
Stacked, literally.
yeah,
stacked.
very stacked. They've got a large number of blue belts, as I say, who obviously full-time Marines. They used to go for their endurance course and stuff, so they're all very good condition. And then you've got the Army as well, who've got quite a lot of higher belts. So the most number of higher belts, they've got the only black belt in the military. A bit older, some of the guys, but very good and very talented.
So potentially, could you be the second black belt from the military? Is that too far in the future, really, to think about?
Potentially, but there's a chap in the Army who might beat me to it, so we'll see. Bit of a race between us.
Yeah?
Yeah, maybe.
A bit of rivalry between the forces?
Oh, definitely.
There's a lot of rivalry.
Yeah, like there's this guy in the Army called Graham Finneran, very big, very accomplished brown belt. Me and him have got a bit of a rivalry going back and forth. He beat me this year, unfortunately, but last time we fought before that, I beat him. So it's he's winning at the moment.
Well, there's some sub-only tournaments that we've heard about potentially in the future.
God.
So maybe maybe someone coming, bringing him down might be quite a good little thing.
Definitely one to jot down on book.
Oh. So you mentioned there were 20 athletes in the RAF that were elite sports people. Is that only in Jiu-Jitsu, or are there 20 Jiu-Jitsu?
Across the board.
So that's every type of sport you could think of?
Yeah, we've got Olympic judo fighters, we've got Olympic skeleton persons. So they actually won a gold medal, I think, the last Winter Olympics.
Skeleton person?
You go down like bobsledding.
Oh,
it's
man.
a single person head first.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's crazy.
Yeah, we're fun people. Like, you imagine how much of a obscure sport it is, then you wouldn't actually be able to do that professionally for money outside the military, so she does. And we've also got a bunch of female rugby players as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we've actually got one on the Welsh rugby team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you compete internationally a lot, and most recently you competed at World Nogi.
Yeah, well, again, I'm California.
Yeah.
That was out there for a week.
Do you want to tell us about your experience of the trip?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good experience. Essentially, it was the first World Championships that was done, and the first time I competed in California. I competed in Japan and Australia and Canada, but this is probably one of the biggest sort of time zones going backwards. So also important to just get used to that, because World Championships but also PAN's held in California every year. So it's getting used to that, the weather difference and stuff. As far as the actual competition went, I unfortunately went out in the first round. I was actually fighting the middleweight category against a guy who looked like a bit like Bigfoot. He was huge. Made me feel sorry that I hadn't cut weight to the lower division. But I don't mind fighting bigger guys. For heavyweight, which is like a difference of like 10-15 kilos before. It was more the fact that I'd sort of been watching my eating all week, and then this guy steps up and it's like, how the hell has he got away with that? Because he was big.
So did you weight cut at all when you competed?
No, I mean, I was watching what I ate, but because I was, that small guy, we were eating like pancakes and, Denny's IHOP, that type of stuff.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
All week without really having to worry, and I was underweight myself in scales. But it's one of those things where I put more time in, easily make that weight count. But it's just a big thing you have to do at the time.
Yeah, that's fair. When we were talking to Brett in the last episode, he mentioned the flying to another country whilst you weight cutting causes a few problems.
Do you know what? I was fighting at 79.5 kilos in Nogi stuff.
Yeah.
By the time I actually got to LA, I weighed in before I went to bed. I was like 84 kilos.
Right.
And most of that was just water and snacks on the trip over.
Wow.
But what I had to do was just basically meet my calorie targets for the week, and I was down to like 78.2 on the day, and that was not me stopping myself at all.
Wow.
I didn't do salt baths or saunas or anything like that.
And do you think next time around, you would do it slightly differently? Come in a bit heavier and cut a little bit more?
No.
You still do it the same way?
Cutting less is definitely the way forward for Jiu-Jitsu. When I fought out in Japan, I was fighting the 82.3 kilo gi category, and I stepped on the scales at 80 bang on. So I was giving up 2.5 kilos to pretty much every person there. But I was probably the smallest but also quickest person there, and I smashed three wins.
And do you see that as different between the gi and no gi? Because obviously with no gi it's a little bit more about explosion and power, and other parts where you can, with grip and gi, you can kind of negate a lot of that.
I'd say in some cases yes, but if you look at it, if you actually watch any of the fights from the gi Asian champs, you'd see none of them were slow. So yeah, they all went pretty fast. You have to kind kind of take account of it, and some fights can be slower. I think the weight difference between the two, so middleweight in 82.3 in the gi and then 79.5 in the no-gi, is just awkward. You can sort of find that you kind of are either suited to one or the other. But,
It naturally suits you to be where you are, kind of thing. So you just say that.
yeah, I should probably be a bit smaller, but if I'm going to do it, it's going to be from a calorie deficit over time, and it's not going to be from cutting weight.
Right.
That's the deal.
Yeah, fair enough.
So looking forward to the rest of the year. Do you see anything else coming up?
Not for the rest of this year. Obviously, we're in for Christmas. I'm just going to concentrate on getting down to 76 kilos for the European Championships in January, because we get that in Lisbon, having another crack at that. So yeah, that's my main focus. And they also moved the no-gi British Championships, which is supposed to be in December, February.
So
Yeah, so
you know, he is now in 18.
exactly. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Obviously, they've got all medals, I guess, so they have to tackle that one.
And obviously there's a big sub-only competition coming up down in South Wales, which will be later on next year.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you on that as well.
I've got more ones to do it, yeah.
That's on camera.
Yeah.
That's on film. That's John Maflin.
Good opponent, one.
Have you got anyone you'd like to thank? Obviously the RAF are a massive help in the whole.
Yeah, they're a massive help. And the other thing I didn't mention is one of the reasons that they do support sportsmen so much is because it's a good way to get the RAF's name out there. And you know, there are a lot of good positions open at the moment for the Air Force. It's probably been our busiest times, you know, for recruitment and for operations. So, you know, if you are interested in a career and, you know, maybe you didn't have a chance to be a full-time sportsman, you know, the RAF might be able to do that for you, you know, if you put in the time and effort. Other than that, yeah, definitely want to thank everyone at the Chris Rees Academy, Chris, Ash Williams, who was out in California with me, helping me train, all the guys there, and also Valor Fightwear as well, have been quite good to me this year, giving me kit.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it, and obviously it's nice that the MMA Wales viewers getting insight into BJJ and stuff as well, and what else is going on in the world. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
If you want to follow John's journey on Instagram, I think he does have do they have a RAF BJJ?
Yeah, it's at Royal Air Force BJJ, and also on Facebook.
Awesome. Cheers guys, thank you very much. Welcome back to part 3 of the MMA Wales podcast. I'm joined by Rhys Bell and James Wallis, and we're going to talk about the recent Adrenalin fight at Play Football Swansea on December 9th, which has just been. And we're also going to cover the upcoming event in Tenby as well. So, guys, great night, great event. How do you think it went?
Great. I mean, they always throw down. You know, there was some good K1 fights, good MMA fights, some close decisions where sometimes people are upset with the way it went, but that happens when you have a good fight anyway.
Yeah, that's fair.
Some bit of everything, decisions, knockouts, quite a few decisions, I think.
Yeah, looking at it, a few
Quite a few
decisions. Quite a few stoppages though, more stoppages than decisions.
Yeah, which, you want a 50-50 affair really on that. Submissions, we had all.
Yeah, I thought the card was really good. We enjoyed a good few fights. You obviously commentated, and I was close by, and there was a couple of times we were on our feet, wasn't there?
And do you know what? The best thing about commentating is I watched all the fights because I have to.
Yeah.
So that's great. It's easy to remember as well because I've definitely had to say the guy's name a few times so I can remember everyone. So that's quite handy. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was good to see finishes in fights that were close fights. Because I guess you'll agree, the better you try and match the opponents up, the more likely it is
More
they'll
chess
just.
game it is.
Yeah, it might end up being a more boring match because.
That's the problem with, obviously, as you guys know, I try and match the fights as fair as possible.
Yeah.
And it shows in, obviously, how close they are sometimes. But you don't get guys absolutely obliterating people then, and then people don't rave about them as much. So some of these guys, I'm not picking on anyone, but some of these fighters who have only fought, let's call them bums.
Journeyman.
Yeah.
Journeyman is the professional word.
Yeah, but even a journeyman are trains. But then some of these guys, they can look really good against their opponents, and then people rave about them because how good they look against opponents that shouldn't be in the cage or the ring with them. But as I say, when you get two really good guys fighting each other, and then they're both taking risks, but not too much risks, then you get a chess match, and then people don't appreciate it as much unless they really tap, they know what they're talking about.
From a kickboxing point of view then, out of the kickboxing matches, who would you say had the best sort of kickboxing style from the matches you saw?
Do you know what, I missed it on Saturday, but I really like Sam Hawkins' style.
Yeah, I do too, yeah.
He is very, like, he's not a local lad, he's from Portsmouth, I think. But we brought him on Adrenalin a few times now, he's fought a few guys. I told him I will find a Welsh guy to beat him.
Who's he fought so far?
One of my guys, he fought Aidan.
Yeah, so he's fought Aidan James from
he fought,
CRA.
which is a good close fight. Ricky Langdon, which was a good fight, but he's a bit big for Ricky. And he fought Jimmy on Saturday.
I quite liked some of the kickboxing. I liked Ben Jones. I thought his kickboxing was quite cool. I enjoyed it was really straight punches that he was throwing a lot of. Ben, again, is one of my guys, struggled with the opponent being a southpaw. Yeah. And the same size, and he's Ben's very tall, like 70 kilo fighter. Just sometimes when you put a southpaw in the mix, you got to go balls to the wall and throw punches, and he didn't really do that, you know. That Kyle Young, he had really big
Muay Thai
legs.
style, he had very much Muay Thai style. So you got to, with the Muay Thai style, you got to go in, put your hands on them. Yeah. Because they want to kick, they want to knee, they want to clinch, they want to slow things down. You got to pick a pace up, and let your hands go. But he struggled with that a little bit.
So I also found Liam Bishop, the really tall guy from Eagles Tie.
Yes.
And I really liked his sort of almost looked like sort of more old Muay Thai, like push kicks and.
Yeah, like the Eagles guys are Thai, but they're very good at mixing up the K1 rules as well. I didn't see it the other night, but I've watched it back. It was a great fight. It was, the tall versus the short guy. Yeah. And like the tall guy come out with the I'd have picked them up, and then the shorter guy had the riot act obviously in the corner and said you got to go in from a win.
Brandon Davis.
Yeah, from Valley Kickboxing. So again, Brandon can box a bit, so he goes that distance down. But it's hard then when you're a round down and there's only 3 rounds, and you've got to go at the guy and sort of start throwing your hands. But again, that's what he did. So
moving on from that then, I think we both said this, Morgan Monk versus Kieran Thomas. I really enjoyed that match.
Yeah, so Kieran's one of my guys.
And where's Morgan from? 3D MMA?
Yeah, so Kieran was matched against Scott Pierce from 3D MMA. On the week of the show, I know this is really random, Scott was walking to work with his headphones on and a car reversed out of the garage into him. Right, so he pulled out of the fight with a bad knee, right? Now Morgan, his teammate, then stepped in. So we didn't know anything about Morgan. Scott had fought on my show before. What you had in that fight then, which was a rarity, is 2 southpaws fighting. They normally, like Kieran always spars with orthodox fighters because there's not many southpaws, not many left-handers, and I suppose Morgan's used to the same thing. So then they're both there going around in circles because they're not used to it, if you like. Yeah. But they just both threw down. They both had 8 counts in different rounds. Kieran likes to kick, he's got a powerful little kick. And he sometimes throws it too much instead of relying on his hands as well. Morgan just let his hands go, so there was like, in a way, sometimes hands was his legs then. Yeah. But you see with the southpaw, what happens is, it's the feet position. So when you're fighting a southpaw and you're an orthodox fighter, you always want to get your foot outside. But when they fight each other, then they don't know what to do with their feet. Their feet are always close to each other. Right. And it's like, so
their front foot is on the opposite foot, so it's like...
Exactly. So if you've got 2 orthodox fighters, because they're used to it, it's all normal. But then when you've got 2 southpaws, their feet end up too close together. They sort of stumbling over each other in a way, and the legs in the way, and that's why it sort of gets awkward. And despite all that, they just let the punches and kicks go and just give everyone a good fight. And it was great fun. And the good thing about that is straight away goes Brad, who's what's his name, Monk's coach, traditional guy like us, like, right, it's a draw, let's do it again, which I think is the way to do it. So in February they're fighting again.
Is it?
Yeah, so I straight away that night it was Pederson, then bang, it's on in Tenby.
I'm quite excited to commentate on that
There's
one
a
again.
key run in March is going off, I think, to the Air Force. So yeah, so it's his last one now before he goes off to.
I thought the show was really good from the offset. Just seeing like up and coming people from the future, like Quay, little Quay fighting in his first fight. It was like it was excellent. He came out swinging. He's definitely one to watch.
I can't believe he's
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
Is he 15 or 14?
I saw that one and I felt
40.
it's. I don't like putting youngsters in the cage often, but as I say, I've seen Quay and Chrissy's Academy a lot.
Yeah.
What they're matching. I know Lee had a good guy, Patrick, and he was like, "It's going to be alright." I said, "Yeah, he's only had one MMA fight," but then he's like, I feel like Quay beat him, but it was like I expected it to be closer.
Yeah.
I expected the clash of styles.
Okay.
Like, you know, the MMA guy who was going to throw lots of punches and move a lot versus the traditional Thai guy who's just going to kick his leg.
Yeah.
But Quay just got off really quick, and then I felt like you want to see close fights with the youngsters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I felt a bit like that, but I don't know. It's going to be hard in the matching now.
Yeah, but definitely a huge potential for the future fight.
So
definitely.
finally then with the kickboxing, and I think we all agree probably knockout of the night for Williams.
100%.
So we mentioned Owen before in the last episode. We talked to him with Brett, and you were quite surprised to hear that he
trained with Joe Longo,
Ray Longo, and his knockout sort of proved what we were all kind of talking about. The sound, just the sound alone,
it was
of
like
him landing that punch is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a big overhand right, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a slip right hand. Slip to the right through the right hand, but as I say, it's all about the timing. It doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you hit. You gotta hit the right time. You know, and it was perfect.
Yeah, there's going to be big things from him in the future. His ground game is fantastic as well.
It is.
So,
I don't know.
He's got a good ground game.
So
I never met him before.
Has he been promoted yet?
I'm not sure if he's got his blue belt yet, but he's definitely very competitive. He does
really
train. He does train a lot.
Such a strong guy.
He is strong, brutal on that. I competed against him before, and it was no easy feat.
No.
So yeah, good guy, solid camp, and big things in the future from him, definitely.
Now on to the MMA then. Is there any fights that stand out to you?
Where do we start?
I mean, there wasn't as many MMA fights as there normally is. I mean, there's a lot of pullouts.
On to the next one, we've got Zach Coleman versus Dylan Steele. This was quite a contentious one as well.
Yeah.
It appears as though Zach won the match, but it's difficult to know the exact scoring. I know Dylan personally, so it's hard to be unbiased as well. But when you watch the fight back, I feel like Dylan made a mistake which let Zach mount him. And that was probably the biggest mistake of the match, and therefore I kind of feel like I agree. How do you feel?
I wasn't actually there. I was in the change rooms.
There's not even no commitment on you. Thanks for that. So I'll just.
I tell you why, because Chris Reese said he thought they'd won the fight, and Chris never says that unless he's sure. You know, he's the first to put his hand up and say, "Yeah, we lost." I mean, so I haven't looked at that yet, because when I do, I want to analyse it.
Yeah, and I think when I was there at the time, I felt like when the judges announced the winner, I sort of went, "What?"
Yeah,
but when I watched it back,
because you know him.
Yeah,
like I don't know Dylan.
When I was there, it felt like it was Dylan's. When I watched it back, it felt like it was his.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, and that's the problem. And that's what Chris says. I felt we won it, but he's not shouting and screaming.
Well, you do see that. You see that.
It's a tough job calling these fights, you know.
You want them to win so much. You see things they're doing good, and not the things the opponents are doing good. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But and that's why I haven't looked back at it yet. But when I do, I'm gonna proper analyse it, because not for any particular, just because I think moving forward, obviously I bring a sanctioning body in, so there's none of my mates are judging. It's all completely neutral. They travel a few hours to get you and stuff.
because we're like Chris and Dylan, like coming from Chris's gym, Dylan will be alright with it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is, really. And
Yeah.
when you either go to the judges, if you don't like the decision, then maybe don't let it go.
don't let it go to the judges.
Easy for me to say from my commentary position, in fairness.
Yeah.
So next up, then we've got the one which I said was the fight of the night, but you don't agree. Mendes versus Miles.
I don't think it was fight of the night. No, I think if you like Mendes performed, he's fast. He's a good puncher. He's a good kicker. His takedown defense against the cage is really good.
His wrestling was good.
Yeah, he defended the takedown because Mendes used to train in my gym years ago with a couple of guys, and his double legs and stuff are fast, and he can take people down quick. But then his defense is good as well. So like he defended a takedown against the cage, and then straight away turned Ben round.
Yeah, so that when he lifted him from the armpit.
Boom, and then turned him and punched him. And to be honest, there's not a lot of fight. Like it was Mendes winning on the feet. Ben not really getting a start. I mean, Mendes being a quick starter.
Yeah.
Then Ben trying to take him down, rightly so. Not getting it. Mendes turned him around, hitting him, beating him, ground and pound him. So it wasn't like an amazing fight because Ben didn't have a chance to go. In my opinion, to me, a fight of the night is I'm beating you up, you're beating me up. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Which I say you could say about Keelan Thomas and the monk. That was his name.
Morgan.
Sorry,
Morgan.
the monk.
Yeah, maybe I agree with you there. Do you know what I do?
You could put him in his performance of the night,
maybe,
but not fight of the night. That's the way
it wasn't back and forth enough for you.
No.
Okay.
Ben
What
didn't
I
have
would
a chance.
say about that fight is I don't know why, whether it was me sat literally that far away from it, but it felt like I would want to watch that every weekend from now till forever.
Yeah.
Because it was so tense, and I was like, if they did that again, it might go Ben's way.
Well, being a doorman, being a former doorman, I had to at that point go stand by all Mendes' mates because there's so many of them. They're great guys, but they just want to go mad. I mean, I'm like, alright boys, calm down, sit down. And the atmosphere, as you say, was going. Right? They're all good boys. I've met them loads of times on the show. And then you had Ben's on, it's like you could feel it in the air. Plus, we talked it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's that factor to it. So the fight there a lot.
It felt like a real kind of headliner in a way because everyone in the room
because
we won or both.
Because we lost Jordan as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have maybe had a great atmosphere as well because Jordan Drew James is so well known and so many people there. I mean. But yeah, it had a great feeling the fight, didn't it?
Finally, Brett Hassett, Mason Jones. This probably is fight of the night, I guess. Because it was a bit back and forth. Brett landed against Mason.
The interesting thing about that fight to me, so Mason Jones is a pro boxer. And a very crisp boxer. Brett Hassett is a good striker in MMA. Now there is a difference. So as you can see, Brett made it. He's a southpaw as well, which again makes him more difficult. He come in from funny angles with the little gloves. Ones you can't block because you haven't got the 10-ounce gloves to block. The MMA gloves are so small you can't do any work. And he cut him open. He made a mess of Mason a bit. He beat him on the feet, which I didn't expect. I was interested to see how it would go. And Mason didn't get lucky on the feet. And to be fair, Brett made a mistake in trying to guillotine. A black belt, you were doing brown belt jiu-jitsu.
And a very solid grappler.
Yeah,
very
he
solid.
got into a great position to Brett.
And that,
to Mason and Kimura his shoulder off.
So that power Kimura from that angle,
Oh.
as soon as I saw it, I thought, I hate that.
Yeah.
I almost had a flashback of someone sitting up to do that to me.
Yeah,
and
Mike
just
Gaynor
went,
used to do that to me all the time. Balls on your head and then rip your shoulder off.
in your own special way.
So I think that's the whole card covered.
Yeah.
Great night, really.
Yeah, I really
all in
enjoyed it.
all.
I mean, yeah, like I say, there's a couple of them that we had. It's nice to see Di Evans make his debut.
Yeah, Di Evans. Maybe do an interview for us next time.
Yeah, we'll see. He's a bit stubborn. Backfing had a great fight.
Alex Lee Jones, for those who don't know his nickname.
Yeah, Backfing. It was a great fight. I mean, he trained hard for it against a guy who's trained a lot longer than him, but it was a close fight. I think he just put so much in the 2 rounds and the third one wasn't there. Yeah, I love that fight. As I say, Di Evans, say as soon as Day had his hands in it, was kind of over, wasn't it? But
Yeah.
the guy who was on the feet, he was like, back and forth, but the guy was dangerous, and he Mike Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he covered, it was a good card, happy.
So, drawing a line under that one then, and moving forward, coming up is Adrenalin Tenby.
Yeah.
Where is it? What's the date?
Tell us a bit about
Okay, so 24th of February, Tenby Leisure Centre, obviously in Tenby. Now, the like I've been doing adrenaline since 2010, and the Pembrokeshire guys have always come down from the kickboxing gyms, the MMA gyms, Tidy and stuff. And I've always said that they do bring a following. It's like the Pembrokeshire guys fight Swansea and their friends come. They have it's a good community there, you know. I've always said one day we'll go down there, but I think now the time is right. So we're still having a good academy down there as well. Luckily, Kaycee just, not luckily, but as I say, she couldn't have timed it better. They're coming soon in the world. But yeah, I can't wait to go down there. And it's funny how many people from Swansea are looking forward to that show rather than when in Swansea because it's down there. Yeah, so we've got some great fights. You mentioned the German versus Germany versus Wales matchups.
So he's bogged down from Germany or Austria? Because the internet says Austria.
Well, he's the German team, isn't he?
Is it?
I think, yeah.
Maybe he is then. The internet's wrong.
Maybe.
That
Well,
happens.
I'm sure he represented Germany in the IMMAF, yeah. So they sort of like a British German team, if you like, I suppose. So, I mean, perhaps he lives in Austria, I don't know.
Yeah, it's building up to be an awesome event anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well then, let's wrap this up.
Yep, fantastic. So guys, thank you for listening to the second episode of the podcast. There is going to be further events that we're going to go into in depth on future podcasts. So there's an event that's going to be coming up in the Manor Park.
Manor Park Black Tie event, yeah.
Black Tie event in March, and also Adrenalin Submission Nogi event, which is going to be in May.
Yeah, we just literally, okay, so 2 seconds on that. We would postpone the show this year back to February, but the venue double booked us, so we now moved it back to May the 13th. So the Adrenalin Submission only event will be in the Quay Hall, Neath, May the 13th. Yeah, we're going to do like a £500 winner takes all 4-man elite level. Still looking at what and when, but we'll start matching for that soon.
So if anyone's interested, get in touch. Fantastic. Yeah, great. We'll leave it there. Thank you guys for the following. Over the last couple of weeks, it's been fantastic. The numbers of people watching the podcast has been amazing, and the support is very well received. So thank you very much. You follow the MMA Wales page on Instagram, Facebook, and also our channel on YouTube. All of them being MMA Wales. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you soon.